इंटरेस्टिंग चीज मुझे इसमें ये पूछनी है. From the funds that you had started to, manage versus the funds you moved on to your career to manage. Let's say, I don't want to put an absolute amount. We can put an absolute amount. You can help me in the answer. Is like, let's say you are handling 1 CR to, let's say, 1,000 CR or 10,000 CR. What is the perspective that gets shifted, and what is like the risk-taking ability or the acumen, or what goes into it, into the mindset, into the thought process. I'm not talking about the research itself, because it requires you to change as a person also, right? So what are your thoughts on that journey of moving up the ladder that way?
Sanjit, so actually quite interestingly, right, the first fund I ever managed, the deep value strategy.
Right.
This was actually a strategy that was launched as a bespoke portfolio for one of our clients at Pro SSA, who
Right.
specifically wanted a deep value portfolio. He didn't want the standard product that we had. He was very interested in value as an investment concept. And because it was a customized portfolio for a particular investor, Shehzad actually helped me effectively allowed me to actually drive a large part of the investment decisions back then.
Right.
Now, this started as a 50 lakh customized portfolio for a particular investor. But
Right.
because performance was so strong, we actually ended up launching it as a product. And the product scaled very, very rapidly. So we started what was a 50 lakh portfolio in a 4 year period, scaled to over 500 crores. And
Right.
this is back in kind of 2005, 2006, when 500 crores was a very large fund. Today, 500
Huge.
crores is
Huh.
really not that
Yeah.
large.
Right.
We actually delivered a 63% annualized return
Wow.
on this particular portfolio. It was the third best performing fund out of 250 funds in existence over that particular period. Now, the interesting part is that honestly, nothing much really changes in terms of the way a fund manager looks at managing a fund when it's 50 lakh, 5 crore, 50 crore, or 500 crore.
Hmm.
Right. So the investment philosophy broadly remains the same, right? So that was a deep value portfolio. We were focusing on identifying of great deep value opportunities.
Hmm.
We were a concentrated portfolio. So regardless of whether it's a 50 lakh portfolio or 50 crore or 500 crore portfolio, we were kind of limiting ourselves to between 20 to 25 companies. You are, regardless of whether you're managing small or large amounts of money, you do have to kind of be looking at the entire universe. So to a large extent, a lot actually remains the same. The one big difference is really just from a risk control perspective. When you are managing, say, a 50 lakh portfolio and you want to buy 10% of your portfolio in a particular company, that is 5 lakhs. It's just very easy to go out and execute that particular trade. When it's a 500 crore portfolio, you're buying 50 crores, buying into a new company. One, it actually excludes a lot of the much smaller companies. You do have to be aware about impact cost. You have to be aware of the percentage of holding that you're buying into the company and other such matters. But really, the core of fund management, which is identifying companies, being on top of the entire universe, having a particular investment philosophy that you're following,
Hmm.
building a portfolio construction, with the exception of sizing of the portfolio and risk control with relation to that. The job of the fund manager honestly remains quite the same. I would actually argue that the larger the portfolio at some level, the job becomes a bit easier because a lot of the
Hmm.
smaller companies can no longer be considered. And you actually end up focusing more on larger companies with much better institutional equity, research coverage, much better access, typically governed better. So
So
it is a slightly weird kind of a thing, right? As in where the role doesn't change
exactly,
that much.
because yeah, but also, but don't the stakes get higher? Like, the stakes are higher, but so even a 5% dip or 3% dip, does that not add pressure? I'm just trying to understand from your own, from your thought process. How is it like? Because there are real bigger funds at stake, right? So how does that work?
So I think this is probably true for most fund managers.
Right.
The way we look at it, we've got a portfolio. You have to
Hmm.
maximize the value on the portfolio.
Right.
And the various things that go into fund management, and they kind of remain, like I said, the same 50 lakhs, 100 crores, 500 crores. If you start thinking about the quantums involved, right, at the age of kind of 25, 26, I was sitting and moving 50, 100 crores in a
Wow.
day, right? Now, if you start thinking about the quantums involved, it actually be very, very difficult to do your job. The job of
Mm-hmm.
a fund manager is you said, right? You have a
Mm-hmm.
particular investment
Mm-hmm.
philosophy, you have certain portfolio construction principles. You sit and you
Mm-hmm.
follow that, regardless of whether you're managing 500 crores, $1 billion, or $10 billion.
Mm-hmm.
If you start really thinking about sums involved in all of that, this industry is probably not for you, as in it's.
Fair, fair, fair. Absolutely.